Hey, thanks for clicking on my video, however it is that you found my video. Appreciate you being here to watch this. I'm going to jump into my Diablo IV character. I have a Necromancer I'm running. I just hit level 50 last night, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the build that I used for levels 40 through 50, as well as a couple things that I picked up along the way. And I'll talk about when I upgraded to World Tier 2, which I did actually in the early 30 levels. And I'm going to mention a couple things down the road that I want to work on as well. So I'm just getting loaded in here for the first time today. Thankfully it didn't crash. Definitely was dealing with some of that in early access. Here's how my character's sitting right now. You can see level 50. I'm pretty minimal inventory at the moment, just some gems that I'm going to swap out. Actually could swap a few of these out, but I will take care of that later. Alright, so now I've updated my gems. We're taking another look at my character screen here. Again, you can see I was able to get to level 50 this weekend. I have a full set of legendary gear across the board. I've upgraded, was able to salvage and upgrade quite a lot of things, so I'm sitting on a full set of legendary gear. And I'm going to go through and show you my ability trees. I'm going to show you quickly some of my stats, just an overall. I'm not going to go into super in-depth on each one, but I just want to give a quick idea of what I've been working with. This build, by the way, as I go through here, this is what I've been using pretty much since about level 40 up to level 50. Somewhere in there, a friend of mine gave me a great idea about a skill upgrade, which I used, and I will mention that when I get there again. But it really changed the way I was approaching the build, and it helped a lot. But pretty much this is the build that I've been using from 40 to 50. It got me through a lot of content, most of it on World Tier 2. I upgraded to World Tier 2 early in the 30s, and I don't really know if that's when you're supposed to or not. It felt like a good time to do it, and I had a lot of fun being on World Tier 2 after that. If you're watching this and you know better about it, please let me know. I love feedback. I'm pretty new into the Diablo world. I played it 10 years ago when Diablo 3 first came out, and since the last several years I've pretty much just been playing Destiny 2. So it's fun to get back into it. So there's kind of a quick look at all my stats. Go through my warriors and mages and golems. So for warriors, this is what a friend of mine told me to use, and I started using this. I may switch off this at some point. I'm working out the build, but I'm using reapers. So basically they carve off corpses. Whenever they do damage, your skeletons will carve off corpses, and that's important to remember. My mages, what I'm using them for is that they actually leave behind corpses as well, and they fortify me when they die, which is pretty much all the time. You'll see that later as I get into those abilities. And then for golems, I'm using the iron golem. It attacks every 5th one, will cause stunning and damage. My main attack that I use is the hemorrhage. You can see I have this fully upgraded, of course. I go down the attack speed route. You could go down the fortify route, which I've thought about doing, but I like the extra attack speed. I think it does help me put out some extra damage, but I may play around with this one as well and take off some other. I think if I weren't running the corpses, this would be the way to go. If I weren't running the corpse fortify build, so that may be something I change at some point. I use Blood Surge to get my health back. This is my main self-healing amount. You can see here that when I use Blood Surge, it heals me for X%, so 2.5%. And then I get fortified on top of that. So it's a nice little healing buff for me. I'm typically picking up blood orbs along the way and all that. My other main attack that you'll see me using, I use a blight. So I drop the blight. It also has it slows, and it has a chance to immobilize and stun as well. And then my minions and everything else is able to catch up with them, I've noticed. Right now I've been experimenting with this. My attacks actually create a corpse, just looking for ways to always constantly have corpse going. My skeletal warriors maxing out their damage and life. I also have this. I've been trying to pick up as many passive perks along the way as I can, dealing more damage and taking less damage. Mages, much more health and damage output, as you can see there. And then again, I'm kind of building into blood attacks a lot, so we have and healing, that's kind of the theme here. I've done quite a bit of solo play, so I really wanted to lean heavily into the healing and staying alive as much as I could. You can see here the blood orbs will heal my minions as well. Been playing around with that one. I may take that one off only because my minions don't seem to last super long, so I actually may take that out and apply it somewhere else. Again, I'm playing with a lot of these things, kind of seeing how they work. I haven't branched out too much into other branches, but I'm trying to get accustomed to the blood and the darkness trees at the moment. Again, what you'll see is a recurring theme here. I'm really trying to get as much fortify, I'm trying to get a bunch of self-healing, and I'm trying to get corpses to then go and attack for me. So I'm staying alive, I'm spamming my attacks, I'm healing, and then I have my minions and my golem that are going out there and doing damage and making more corpses. And it's a bit of a slower grind, but it does get me through some content when I am doing it solo, or if I can just spam and stay alive for the most part. For my ultimate, I'm using Blood Wave. I've thought about going down the bone route, I just haven't put a bone build together. When I do put a bone build together, I'm going to go for that one. And a corpse one as well here. Blood Wave also will slow enemies, so I typically will open onto a large attack with that and then hit them with everything else. And it leaves behind Blood Orb, so every 45 seconds I'm at least healing myself. If nothing else is going on, I'm at least getting some healing. There we go. Okay, and then getting down to the ultimate passive, since I'm using a blood build overall, my maximum life gets an increase of 10% with this, and when I'm healthy, I get a blood overpower. Now, if I were going bone, I would obviously go for the bone passive. Now, for Paragon points, I just unlocked this, so I'm still getting used to it. Now, the way Paragons work is that you get from what I understand, you get a skill of this every rank from now on past 50, and this is a tree, so there are decisions to be made, there's branches of the tree to choose. I'm going to the right here, I'm going to go middle, I went for intelligence for extra damage, and then I'm going to go to the right so that I can ultimately unlock this within a few goes. Now, when I unlock that, I may take off the other passive to reduce that extra life, because then I only lose 6% instead of 10, and anyway, I'm sure my life will be much increased at that point. So that's my skills. Overall, let's see, the last thing, oh yeah, here we go, this is the skill, the Necrotic Carapace. When your minions, I actually have fortified when my minions or my own attacks create a corpse. Now, one really cool thing that I learned along the way here is that you actually don't need your lesser gems, and I'm going to splice this in down the line. You don't need your lesser gems to be in your inventory when you're upgrading them into a larger item. So I have, you can see here, chipped sapphires. You don't see it because I didn't go to my stash, but there in the bottom you can see that I have 3 available to craft, but there's none on the right side in my actual inventory. So it's going to pull from my stash and it'll allow me to upgrade the sapphire. Just a quick thing that I thought was a cool note while I'm swapping out some stones here. Okay, now let's go check it out in action. Well, get back on my horse. Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit about, while I'm in transition to this quest area, I'm going to talk a little bit about how much I've been enjoying it. For the last several years, I've been playing Destiny 3, Destiny 2 exclusively, and with a couple games that came out here and there that I played a little bit of. This game, I honestly haven't picked up Destiny since the day I started playing this last Thursday night. I immediately just ran up to 50 as quick as I could. I've been grinding through the campaign. I think I'm almost done. I'm headed into Act 6. Oh good, we got an event right here. This is perfect.